This video is about areas of compound shapes.
Compound shape is made out of at least two shapes together.
So it might look like this, and we'd have rectangle A and rectangle B. The first thing you have to do is to draw the shape in your book.
Once you draw the shape, you need to split it into two areas. We're going to split this shape right here.
One area can be called A, and then the other area can be called B. Now we need to find the dimensions of area A and area B.
Remember, these diagrams are not drawn to scale.
To work out the area of A, I use the length times the width. In this case, it's 6 times 4. Which is 24. To work out the area of B, we times the length by width.
We times the length by the width. In this case, it is 6 times 6, and 6 sixes are 36 centimetres squared. Once you've worked out both areas, you need to add them together. So in this case, you would take the 36 and you'd add 24 onto it. And that's going to give you the total area of the shape of being 60 centimetres squared.
1. First, draw the shape in your book using 1 square for each centimetre.
Next, split the shape into sections. Call them A, B, C, etc.
Work out separate areas using length times width. Make sure you use the right dimensions.
Once you've worked out your separate areas, add them together. Remember, centimetres squared or metres squared at the end of your answer.
Okay, often the trickiest part about working these out is making sure that you've got the dimensions right, and sometimes you'll have to find those dimensions because they'll be hidden in the diagram. For example, if the top dimension here is 8 centimetres, and if it tells you that this section here is 5 centimetres, then you'll need to work out the section that I've just marked going across by starting with the 8, taking away the 5, and hopefully you would realise that that has to be 3 centimetres down at the bottom. Similarly, if you had 9 centimetres down at the side, and if you knew that this length on this side over here was going to be 5 centimetres, that would automatically let you know that this one down here was going to be 4. So you need to use the information that you've got on the square to make sure you're splitting it up appropriately. So once you've drawn all those on, you need to split the diagram into sections. And to split this diagram into sections, I would suggest personally that you split it across here where I've just drawn the black line. I would call one section A, I'd call the other section B. And I then need to work out the dimensions of both sections. So on this one, area A is going to equal 8 centimetres across the top and 5 centimetres down the side. If you've drawn that accurately in your book, you'll just be able to count the squares. So 8 times 5 is 40 centimetres squared. For area B, you need to use length times width, and the length of area B is going to be this dimension down here, which is the 4, and it's 3 across the bottom. So that would be 4 times by 3, which gives you a total of 12 centimetres squared. To find out the total area, you need to add those two together. So 40 and add on the 12 is going to give me a total of 52 centimetres squared. Remember, there'll always be different ways of splitting up a shape. On the shape that I've just drawn, one way that you could work it out is to work out the dimensions of everything which is covered inside the blue line. So if I was going to say that the bottom across here was 12 metres and the side was 7 metres, to work that the whole area I would do 12 multiplied by 7, which is going to give me 84. The problem there is that I've also included this white section up here. So I'd need to work out how large this white section was. If I knew that across the bottom it was 4 and up the side it was 3, then I would know that that section there is going to be 12 metres squared. What I then need to do is take my total of 84 and take away the 12, which is going to leave me with 72 centimetres squared for my whole area. I could have worked that out in a completely different way, and we'll do that on the next slide. So the other way I could have split this slide up would have been to halve it and make a section down there and to make a section down here to say that we have rectangle A, rectangle B and rectangle C. I would have needed to work out the dimensions for each section, and when I'd worked out all the separate areas, to total them all together. The tricky bit is making sure that you get all of the dimensions correct, particularly when you've got middle sections like you have on B. And it's making sure that you know exactly what your dimensions of that shape should be. So your homework task now is to tackle the calculating area and perimeter sheet. I do want you to stick to the success criteria, so draw them first in your book, work out the areas, work out the perimeters, and remember centimetres squared or centimetres at the end of your answers.